my next adventure is I'm swimming Alcatraz next summer.
Swimming to the island?
He's gonna break some records.
I'm breaking a couple world records.
Are you fucking serious?
I'm dead
Swimming
ass.
at Alcatraz?
1.5 miles.
Yo, you're a legend.
Yeah, you heard it here first, folks, on the damn podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Serving Sunshine podcast. I'm your host, Nick Woodshire. I'm here with my co-host, Mr. Casey Graves, and a motherfucking legend in the flesh, Austin Reynolds.
Thanks for having me, gentlemen.
How we doing today, sir?
Honestly, can't complain, man. It's we're in the Christmas spirit. We're at the last day of Hanukkah, and we're having a good one.
Yep.
Yes. It's the last day of Hanukkah, baby. Hope everyone opened their last of the 8th presents. And if you want to switch sides, we got a Christmas podcast for you. Open a few more under a tree. We won't tell your leader or whoever you worship.
Shout out to the tribe. Shout out to Jews.
Shout out to the J tribe, man. I'm not a part, but I'm so jealous. I'm so jealous. Reynolds, you're Jewish, right?
I've got Jewish blood, but I'm Christian. So
that sounds like a mixtape from Young Dolph. I'm sorry. I got
Just
Jewish
bars.
blood, but I'm Christian.
Bars.
Oh, yeah, dude. Bars, baby. Bars.
So, Austin, tell us a little bit about yourself to the viewers that don't know you.
So, little recap. I was born in Connecticut, moved to LA when I was 6. I was born with achondroplasia dwarfism. That is 1 in 100,000 chances. Honestly, when I came out of my parents' womb, they were going to name me Forrest because when they were pretty much before I was born, they had the company called Friends of the Forest that was like, hey, we'll go find an animal, build a stuffed animal, sell it to a consumer, and then they'll get a certificate with an animal saying they saved something. So my name was Forrest after that, and then Forrest Gump came out. And they realized what the representative of Forrest Gump is. And they were like, yo, my son's going to get stuffed in the locker, so we're not going to name him Forrest. So I went with my dad's middle name, Austin.
They beat the movie.
Your parents deserve some royalties off that.
Bro, I was like, that would have been a badass name. And then there's that UFC fighter, Forrest Griffin. I'm like, yeah, you took my name, bro. Nothing you could do about it. But
I'll give it back.
I tell people I got 2 middle names because my parents had no originality with my name. My first name is my dad's middle name, and my middle name is my mom's maiden name.
Wow.
So it's just straight by the book. It's Austin Lambert Reynolds. So fast forward, I was born with dwarfism. I moved to LA when I was a half-year-old. When I moved to LA, we moved to a nice neighborhood, but crazy enough, this 18-year-old was my next-door neighbor, and my dad was a big basketball fan. We went to many Laker games. First Laker game we went to, Kobe Bryant was a rookie who was our neighbor. So basketball to me has always been kind of my forefront of what I love, and never had the idea of what I want to do in life other than be a sports agent. I've always wanted to be sports. Nothing else mattered. Music has always been a passion of mine, but I've always loved sports. And learned at the young age that I would never play sports because my dad pretty much broke it down to me. He's like, you're here. People are here. Try to shoot a basketball real quick. My dad's 6'4". Shot a basketball at him. Hardest rejection I ever got. And I was just like, yeah, no, that's not going to work.
That's good for a parent when they have a kid who has a disadvantage in life, to not coddle them and make them feel like a squishy, gooey, feel-good, cushiony lifestyle, because the truth of the matter is you'll find out harder in life when they leave that foundation for you.
Imagine if they babied me, think, oh, bro, my son's going to be the best player. And I go out my first game, and this kid just blocks the shit out of me. I'm like, all right, I'd rather be humbled by my dad than another kid my age kind of thing.
You probably respected the fuck out of him.
I was pissed. Because I always looked up to Muggsy Bogues, Earl Boykins, Nate Robinson. These guys are 5'5". Exactly. I'm like, yo, they got 5 inches on me. That's nothing. But my dad's like, yeah, they also have double your arms. I'm like, all right, bet. I got you, dude.
60-inch vert.
Yeah,
that type of
they've
deal.
got like ups and everything. So I've always was one with sports. Had a lot of medical complications when I was a kid. Probably up until I was 15, I had probably like 20 surgeries in and out of hospitals. Pretty much my whole life, kind of just doing like surgeries and stuff. And then had a great childhood. Don't like that. Well, you guys listening think that I didn't have a good time. I looked at life as a glass half full instead of half empty. My life was consisted of a lot of people calling me saying, "Hey, Austin, can you come to Disneyland with us so we can get to the front of the line?" I was like, "Hell yeah!" Like I'm never gonna like take an opportunity for granted. So life was good. About 8th grade, I needed to get a surgery. Went in for a normal operation. Everything was kind of chilling, and then came home from my operation. Never fully recovered. They said it's a longer recovery, so it was 4 months. Got the surgery in January, January 2010, and then by like April, like I should have fully recovered. Nothing was happening. People thought like I was being lazy. My rehabilitation process didn't like fully trust like I was pushing myself to the fullest capabilities, but little did they know that something was going wrong the whole time. So about September of that year, I was prior to me going. So the number one problem with being in a wheelchair, not being in a wheelchair with achondroplasia, is 1 step for you guys, 4 steps for me. So I'm gassed prior to me being in this wheelchair. You guys walk anywhere, it's like a mission for me. So I always had like a Segway. I drove a Segway going around and meet everyone, and it was just anything like kept me mobilized with everyone. It was nice. And so pretty much I fell off my Segway my freshman year. I went from a small 48-person Christian school to a 3,500 public school. Pretty much like what you see in the movies, like a bunch of people walking hallways, people like cliques and everything. You're kind of just like, yo, what's happening? Ate shit in front of everyone. And I'm like, yeah, like, damn. I'm never going to recover from this one. Who am I kind of thing. And I did all of this, went in for another surgery in November because they found there was compression on my back, and came out of the surgery, was pretty much told like, hey, they're going to do the surgery and you'll be back walking. Nothing's going to be any different. Then I get the surgery and they're like, hey, like, we really want to get you back on your feet, and physical therapy is like in-house. Would you stay at this place for a month? I'm like, no, but like, I will. Like, I'm a freshman in high school, don't really want to be away from my friends. I was in another state, and I kind of was just like, I'll do it. Go to this place. And for a month straight of my life, they were teaching me how to live in a wheelchair, how to be there, how to do things. And I'm kind of just wondering, like, yo, like, you guys are teaching me things that, like, aren't necessary to my life. Like, let me do what I can do, but I was, like, captive in their place. And the number one thing that I got from this place was 2 things. One, I was in a pool that they had in the building. This guy comes up to me, fully walking, Gucci belt, nice-ass watch, full suit, looks like a real douchebag. And he's just like, hey, what are you doing here? I'm like, I really couldn't tell you. Someone must have ticked him off that, like, I wasn't in, like, the right headspace. And he's like, well, dude, I was paralyzed, told I would never walk again, and now look at me. And I was like, how long did it take? He's like, 15 years. I'm like, bet. I'm like, that's pretty cool. So I go back to my room. I'm in probably a room like this with 18 people. Everyone's like hitting me with, you'll never go to college. Like, pretty much before I go back home, and it's like my family on one side and everyone else on the other side. They're like, you'll never live alone. You'll never go to college. You'll never do this, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, in my head, I'm like, all right, bet. Mm-hmm. Like, let me just feed my ego to the max of what I can't do so I can prove you wrong. And my roommate at the time, I'll never forget this, and this was one of the cornerstones of my life, was this. I had like a single room, pretty nice, and then like the rehabilitation place got pretty backed, and I got moved to another room. Me being like pretty like 16, 17 at the time, I didn't really want to like do anything, just want to be with my friends, was pretty much like, screw my parents, everyone's wrong in this world, and like just want to do things like, why am I going through all this stuff? And then I had like a massive reality check that the kid who was next to me was not paralyzed, like didn't have any pre-existing conditions like I did, like dwarfism, and he was coming home from an Eagles game with like 15 of his friends and got literally blindsided, paralyzed from the neck down. And his parents were like, they moved me to this room, and his parents are like crying and everything. And I was like, yo. And my dad looks me in the eyes, and he's just like, yo, you keep bitching and all this life, like, you got a great situation. Like, look what you're going through. I hear the mom and dad crying all the time, friends and family coming to see him. It's like a week of hell, like literally like hearing that. And I'm just like, real endearing, humbling moment of my life where I was kind of like, okay, like, I got to live life. Like, you never know what could be taken from you. And so between my roommate, Brian, bored of everyone telling me I can't do anything, I was like, all right, guys, I'm going home. So I go home, I stand with my walker. I call my parents in my room. I was like, guys, look, stand with my walker. They said I would never do that. I'm like, this is the first thing that I know I could do, and that they're just holding me back up there. Just believe in me. So that was the end of 2016, and now my sophomore year in college, high school, and I lived high school up to the best of my abilities. I was, from my first day of high school, first like semester, I fell out of my Segway. Then I had to leave for surgery and rehabilitation. Came back, everyone was like, oh, like the kid from the Segway is in a wheelchair now, kind of thing. To fast forward to the end of my senior year, they had prep rallies at my school of me racing another kid in a wheelchair. I won prom king. I won friends with everybody. I was the manager of my lacrosse team at school. I did everything my best of my abilities, and the biggest accomplishment from high school is I got into Florida State, which kind of opened my eyes of another checklist of, I'm going to do this. But before I went to Florida State, I knew I had to do something that proved my ability to do things. And since my parents have done so much for me throughout my life, I was like, how can I show them gratitude of what they've done for me? So I talked to a couple people in my high school, and nobody knew I was going to do this besides like 4 people. But I walked across the stage with a walker to grab my diploma.
Oh, I saw that video.
Yeah.
So you do that at Florida State too.
I
did that
video.
Florida State
And
as well.
Florida State.
Yeah. So I was just like, I did it at Boga High. Everyone, like, I was so nervous that I didn't look left. I was just so focused, just like looking straight, that I don't even know what, like, the crowd reaction. And my mom was like in tears and everyone was hyped. But like, that was the moment I was like, all right, like, you could do almost anything you want in this world. And so then I went to Florida State, 7 hours away, not with my family, not with like anything. Moved into a dorm by myself, had to rely on someone coming at 8 a.m. from an agency to help me get in the shower and things. But, like, a lot of people in those situations would be like, dude, I'm done, can't do this, I'm going to push myself to the abilities. And I was like, bro, I could do almost anything in this life. And as Casey, who can attest, like, when I got to Florida State, you saw me, you met me for the first time. You saw me with I'm not going to let anyone down mentality. I was like, I'm going to just treat me like one of the boys, and we're going to have a great time.
I don't accept somebody that's like, woe is me, pity party based off of disability and shit, and you gave none of that the first moment I met you. I was like, this guy is the fucking man. And then we picked up through like mutual friends of Fort Lauderdale, Boca, all that bullshit, and we kind of like gained traction a little more then and there. And yeah, you're basically, you're walking testimony of what you said. I mean, it's
a little fucked up. I'm not walking, dog.
We'll be right back after these messages, folks. This podcast episode is brought to you in part by Hard Rock Tequila. No, it's not. This podcast... The confidence in me. This podcast episode is brought to you in part by Rock and Roll Tequila. Flavors are as great as the shooters, folks, and it's perfectly flavored for any margarita that you would have under the sun. Both won awards, but Mango won gold medal in the SIP Awards, the big spirits and competition. Better luck next year, Strawberry. No colors added. You can probably even say we're one of the first brands to have a flavored tequila. But anyway, just to even tie a bow on it for this special holiday, go out and get you a motherfucking Rock and Roll Tequila. I promise you won't fight with your relatives as much if you sip it. Well, you're rolling through the punches. I mean, you fucking...
I even knew who you were, like, before meeting you, like, just seeing you in Durd. Going up to all the bars and stuff. Like when I was telling people who were interviewing today, like, oh, I know who that is, and I'm sure you don't even know who the fuck they are.
And that was my number one thing in Tallahassee is like, dwarf in a wheelchair. That doesn't happen a lot. So people are like, I get hammered one night, don't remember the next morning. They're like, dude, I saw you last night. I'm like, what happened?
Did you? Fucking dude. Yeah, absolutely.
So, and then just to like track back, did the damn thing at Florida State, had a great time, literally loved it. And then came into kind of a unfortunate circumstance with Florida State that I failed 3 classes because if I remember these professors' names, I would call you out right now. But they didn't understand the concept of like, if I had a doctor's appointment in Miami, on Friday, I would have to like leave Thursday for an 8 a.m. doctor's appointment. They never understood that concept. And like the Florida State doctor on the campus wouldn't write me a note saying like I had to do, like it was like pretty messed up to the point where I'd like go to my dean and I was like, yo, I'm leaving this school or like let me finish all online and move back to Miami. So she was like, you're not going to be sports management anymore. You got to go communications. And I was like, I don't give a damn. Like, I need to go do this. And that was the best decision I've ever made.
Yeah.
So I moved to Miami like 2016, I believe, 2017. Me and Johnny Gonzalez moved down there. And it was one of the best experiences I've ever had. I lived down there for the last 6 years and moved out last year. But during my tenure there, I made some pretty incredible connections, worked for the best basketball organization, the Miami Heat, and set up my job right now for working for Barstool Sports.
So now when did you start working for Barstool?
I started working for Barstool.
You went from Miami, correct me if I'm wrong, Miami Heat straight to Barstool? Or
I went Miami Heat, COVID, Barstool.
How'd you land Miami Heat? Sorry.
So Miami Heat to me was always my dream. I wanted to work for the Heat since I was a kid. I love basketball. And when I was living in there, I have a buddy, Jeff, who like works inside the Heat. And I've always asked him, like, what can I do to get my foot in the door? What can I do? And he's like, go to teamworkonline.com, free ad. And they will literally post, and that's where all sports from across MLB, NHL, all the sports teams, that's where they post their stuff. Little to behold, they had like a festival of like Marlins, Hurricanes, Dolphins, Heat like 2 weeks later. So I go in there, crush my like representation of myself. They call me back and they're like, hey, we would like to hire you to be a premier concierge. And I was like, okay, I'm down. And the first game I get in there, I will never forget. I had to work a Jonas Brothers concert, and I was just like, "What the hell am I doing here?" Like, I'm literally like scanning wristbands, but I'm like this is like probably my worst. Like, I don't want to be here, but I want to be with the Heat. But like, there was like a give and take kind of thing.
How bad do you want to work for the Heat?
It was exactly.
Well, the Jonas Brothers are on at 5, so we have to.
It was the first, and like not even was it the Jonas Brothers. They put me in a place where like I couldn't see the show or anything. I'm just literally staring at a wall. I'm like, bruh, like this is like not what I signed up for. Then the next game, they signed me up and they have me going on the suite floor for a Heat preseason game, like the red, white, and pink game. Nobody's on the suite floor. I'm sitting there by myself, besides one player's family and everything. I'm like, all right, I'm happily go sit over there, and I go up to them, and I'm just like, okay, cool. And little to behold, they were like pretty much trying to test me to see like what would happen. And my tenure with the Miami Heat was the best experience I've ever had work-wise, because they put me in this place called Gate 4, and I met more celebrities, more movies, more actors than I've ever met my entire life. Like, it was literally one of the craziest experiences from, I'll never forget, like, because my responsibility was I made sure that you had access to the courtside lounge, courtside club, and everything. So I would have, like, the coolest night I had was DJ Khaled, Meek Mill, Future, and then like right behind them was Queen Latifah, Usain Bolt, Paul Pogba next. And I'm just like, I just remember 15 minutes went by and I was like, what the hell just happened? Like, this is unreal. And like those people, not all of them come regularly, but like I'm in the same spot. I'm a hard person to forget. So I was building like great relationships with these people, and it was my first season there. About playoffs are about to begin. COVID stops everything, and so they pretty much are like, "Yo, like you're not needed. Like we don't need you anymore. We'll call you when we need you." I was like, "Fair enough. Like there's not much you can do." And I literally sat for like almost like 15 months waiting for something, and I was like,
Wow.
I can't do this. And so I saw online Barstool was doing this like discovery talent thing, made a reel of me walking across stages, talking my inspirational story, kind of working out, doing normal life things. Someone caught a wind of it. Someone got the info to the right people. I got a DM saying, "Hey, what would you like to do?" And I said, "Hey man, any opportunity that comes across my way, I'll gladly be a part of." Did it, got hired, and I haven't turned back since.
That's unreal.
Yeah, no, it's one of the coolest, craziest, best stories ever. And honestly, I wake up every morning, I'm like, this is sick.
Yeah, you made the most of your situation.
Because
It's unreal.
It's one of those things where people like, I hate people who like look at me and are like, damn, bro, like my like situation sucks. I'm like, dude, shut the fuck up. Like, there's people who are like, man, like my day sucked. I'm like, no, it doesn't. Because like I eat the punches. I take the brunt of a lot of things, but you'll never really find me with like a pouty face trying to bring people down. Because like my mindset is simple. No one likes being around a negative person who like brings a mood down, vibe killer, or anything. So like, if you want to be around people, you want to be liked, bring positive vibes.
Yeah.
That's pretty much
The
name of the game.
The worst phrase is the "I can't catch a break" people. That shit pisses me the fuck off. I don't know why, but I just hate that. Like that sequence of words is the worst fucking shit to me. But
It's like I can't get a break. It's like, dude, just keep going.
yeah,
Life's a roller coaster, has ups and
stop being a
downs.
bitch. At the
Can't
end of
catch
the
a
day.
break. Try catching these fucking hands, you idiot. Tell him, Reynolds.
It's the name of the game.
What
That's cool, man.
What are you doing at Barstool now?
So it's a pretty dope title. I'm data analytics. So pretty much they get, I want to say like 2,500 clips a day across all their brands. And then I categorize it to what specific brand it goes to. And then I tag the content that it's linked to. So basically what it comes down to is we can get a broader number of how many people watch a video, including all the clips, all the everything, instead of just like the YouTube numbers, let's just say 100K. But from, you take one YouTube video and then you go across YouTube, Facebook, and all that stuff like that.
Yeah, that's sick.
So you get the numbers, you get everything. And so I like it a lot. I'm work from home, and the coolest thing is I've got an amazing boss. Cool people. My coworkers are awesome, and I have the flexibility to like grind at night, do my own thing kind of during the day, but really put in like, I work 8 hours a day, maybe 10 on some days. That even if I'm up to like 4 in the morning, I could still go to doctor's appointments in the morning, could still go to the gym, could still do my daily routines of life and still get my job done. And I was telling Casey before, my next goal, like my next adventure, is I'm swimming Alcatraz next summer.
No way. Like swimming to the island?
He's gonna break some records.
I'm breaking a couple world records.
Are you fucking serious?
I'm dead
Swimming
ass.
at Alcatraz?
1.5 miles.
Yo, you're a legend.
Yeah, you heard it here first, folks, on the damn podcast.
Yeah, no, I'm swimming next summer. I attempted to do it this last November, but the people there are kind of weary of this, and I kind of had to like prove them that like I'm not just your average Joe.
You definitely have to sign liability waivers.
Yeah, no, my thought process was it's 100
For sure.
Yeah, no, my thought process, they have swims there, they have like, what's it called?
Just saying it.
Marathons. No, it's the truth. They have like marathons, and like, I was like, oh, bro, I'll just jump in with them. And I got a call, and my buddy's like, dude, that's not gonna fly. I'm like, bro, they're gonna love this. And I called them, and they're like, yeah, bro, like, if you want to do this, you got to do it like private. We need like to get the Coast Guard and someone in a kayak. I'm like, why? Because they're like, bro, you swim with everyone else. You're just a bobbling head with everyone else. And I'm like, so? And he's like, you're a one biter to a shark. I was like, bet. At least I'm not gonna be hurting. He doesn't like the person wasn't like too keen on me just being like, dude, like, what's gonna happen? I get bit by a shark, I die. I'm okay. Like
The fact that he called you a one-biter to a shark, that gets me. Jeez. And you said, bet.
that's okay.
Point taken?
So now I got it situated. So my goal, I'm still working with them. I think this should be patriotic as hell. Do it on the 4th of July.
Dude.
Wow.
Next
So
level.
you're going based off of their schedule, or you're scheduling it on the 4th of July?
It's honestly even more crazy than that. You could schedule it for 4th of July, but like you got to be out there 2 weeks before and 2 weeks after because like they'll do it. This is the best way they've explained it to me. You know how in Miami there's that channel where the cruise ships go in and out of? Think about that on steroids underneath the Golden Gate Bridge. That's the swim. Like it's a trafficked area
Wow.
where they want me to swim. So like that's why it takes so. And what we were arguing with is, so you know those black tees in pools, like for like long lap pools, like how you see those tees underneath. So
Yeah.
that's 25 meters.
Oh, wow.
And so they want me to swim 4 laps, 100 meters, and 2:50, 2 minutes 50 seconds. I'm like, bro, I got only my upper body. Like you guys are like putting me against like people who could do swimming. So I trained and I got to 3:30, and I'm like, bro, I'm 40 seconds too slow, but that's like the best you're gonna get. And they're like, yeah, but like,
No.
would you be down to like? Because like how they're trying to say it, it's like you start here.
They want to
and
cut corners with you.
yeah, and I'm like, dude, they literally said it to me like, would you be down like if you went too slow that will pick you up and then take you to the finish line, you could swim in
Fuck
for the
that.
finish. I was like, I'm not a quitter or a faker. Like if I'm gonna do something, I'm gonna do it right.
And then you can't live a lie.
Yeah, no.
Because everyone's going to say, did you swim Alcatraz? And you're like,
I swam in the
technically I
waters.
was 40 paces short or some bullshit. I do the whole thing or don't.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
no.
gonna eat at you too.
Yeah, no, I'm not a quitter or something like that. I just want to be. I want that record. And then I was looking up. I'm like, yeah, like what world records could we get? Longest swim, like farthest distance, and then you just have to do different like strokes, and you'll get. I talked to somebody. I'll get like 5 or 6 world records. That's like every kid's dream, getting your name in that book.
Yeah,
So I was kind of like, I was telling Casey, I was like, I don't really know what I want to do with it, but my goal is to get those records and then take that story and maybe go on a inspirational path of like, yo, anything's freaking possible in this world. You're looking at a kid
sure.
that didn't have. I'm not saying he didn't have much going for him because I've got a great support system and great family and everything. But I've earned everything I've gotten through the power of anything's possible. You get rejected, you find another entrance, you can't get in somewhere, you can't figure something out, you get it done.
Kick the door down.
Kick the door down. Like if you want something badly, you'll figure it out. Like people who just deny after one, just cuddle back and they're like, yo, I can't do this.
Yep.
I hate those people.
Yeah. Fuck them, dude.
Like,
There you go.
it's wild.
If you had the idea, if you had the money to mindset the one shot, like we talked about, I mean, what would you think you would want to make brand-wise for you? I mean, you've had ideas. I mean, how many times have you ran through a YIFNO idea and you're like, nah, like before it was YIFNO, it could have been something else and you're like, this is it. And then all of a sudden you're like a month and you're like, gay. And you're like, you got to scratch it. Now you go back to the drawing board. Have you had trial and errors of like something that you're comfortable with that you want to represent?
Absolutely. I've had a lot of. So when I was living in Miami, let's see what year this. It was pre-COVID, so probably 2019. I was contacted by somebody that had an idea, my vision of telling my story, inspiring people, going to places, inspiring people, and gave him X amount of money to get me. The deal was ridiculous. He wanted $5,000 for 200 YouTube videos, edited, cut things, 50 Instagram posts, and 100 all this stuff, plus access to this thing in LA where he claimed to know a bunch of people. So I did it. We went to LA. We did everything. Nothing set out. He overpromised on his content, and the videographer quit, and I respect why he quit because
Guy's a snake.
Yeah, he was not getting paid at all, and like the videographer's like, bro, like you feel me? I'm like, dude, I was doing this video, like it was a great deal. That's why I did it, and I don't diss you for leaving. I'm just never gonna talk to that person again, and so that kind of opened my eyes. But what I really want to do when I was living in Miami, I found the passion of my life, and so many people have helped me in this world, like holding doors to spending nights with me at the hospital, just a variety of things. That anytime I
paid
get
you a couple of visits.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, bro. When the boys come to visit, I'm sitting in the hospital, I'm not alone. Like that's just like eats me up. Of like, all right, I gotta do something now. So when I was first moved to Miami, I saw this thing on Instagram where it was like, come to volunteer time to come do style saves, and I was like, all right, like what is this? Go in there, go to the big warehouse in Wynwood, Manna. And there's probably like 5,500 like school supplies and everything, and like 20 people.
Okay.
And I get in there, and I'm like, this is pretty dope. Later to find out that the owner of Live, Dave Grubman, runs the whole thing with his wife and this woman, Rachel Russell. I go in there, and I'm like a cheat code for this thing because I'm pushing pallets with my foot plate. I was only supposed to go there for 2 hours. I spent the next 4 days. I literally will never forget. I got a handicap van, for those who don't know, that the back seat has no back seat. So there's a front seat and a back seat, but the middle is pretty open. I fit 206 CC's pizzas, not CC's,
Little Caesars?
Little Caesars pizza.
Yeah.
And I literally had to stench of pizza in my car for like a month.
Of course.
But like literally like...
Bro, you have like cloth and shit in the car
Bro.
too. It just stays permanently.
DY was with me this day, and me and him were just literally loading them up. But like we spent Wednesday to Saturday doing it, and then Saturday and Sunday's event. That event was by far the best experience of my entire life. So many kids came out. So many kids were like, this is the best thing in my life. Like, you guys are so great. So I became very close with the Grubmans and Rachel and the whole Style Saves team, that I've never wanted to do something more than positive, like just helping others, because they just, raised over like, I don't know how much money, but the first year they gave back to 5,000 kids. The second year was 7,000. The next year was 8. And then this most recent year we got to like, I think 13,000 in like 2 days. And it's crazy because all it is volunteers. There's only like 4 people that are on salary there. Other than that, it's pure volunteers and raising money through the communities of different places, doing auctions. And so through that, I kind of opened my eyes where I was like, yo, how great it would be to like get paid for telling kids like my story, and not even the money aspect, but like if I could go to somewhere and like look a kid in the eye who's like, yo, my girl's leaving me, or like I'm not, the coach isn't playing me. I'm like, yo, shut up. Like, you got a great life ahead of you. Like, this is what happened to me. Like, get your things in order and pursue what you want to do. Like, that to me would be the dream, because there's nothing more I really want. And like, would like to make $1 billion. Everyone wants money, but at the end of the day, like, if I could do something for the rest of my life, it would be helping other people.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you about that, but you answered the question about Style Saves.
Yeah.
When do they throw the event to like help with the drive?
Every year, just the week before school. So it's like the first or second week of August. It's pretty much Tuesday to Sunday operation, and that to me is probably like the busiest week of my year, because this year I stayed in a hotel, and so they would literally, I got there at like 8 a.m., left at 6 p.m. every single day. So but you come on Saturday and Sunday, and you see all those kids' faces light up, giving you hugs and everything. It makes those like long days really worth it.
100%. So it's like that third week in August, right before school starts.
Exactly.
I want to get involved with that.
Bro, absolutely. Like, I've gotten a bunch of homies just because like you don't need to, like, you could come up, show up for like 20 minutes, leave, show up for a couple hours, leave. Like, it doesn't matter. And all hands on deck is what I pretty much tell everyone. Is like, that's what the necessity is.
And you guys are donating clothing, school supplies.
They got clothes, so they could walk in, they go down like this line. You get a backpack filled with all school supplies. Then you get a collared shirt, pants, shoes, and then you move down. Like, you get makeup, bags, $50 fidget spinners. They gave out like Android pads this year, so kids could go to the school and stuff, get free haircuts, hairstyles, nail polish, makeup. There's just so much. Like you go in there and like you're just kind of like, wow, like this is like Candyland for like any like young adult.
Yeah, it's unreal. Because I mean, getting involved with the charities and stuff, it's more like gratifying.
Mm-hmm.
So, because we work with a charity like during this time of year, and we just like build like water towers in Peru.
That's awesome.
Yeah, for like villages that are like dirt poor.
Yeah.
But
It makes a massive difference for them.
Yeah, 100%. Like we're giving the kids school supplies, clothing,
and that to them is my thing that really drawed me in was I gave a kid a fidget spinner, and like I probably had like 1,000 fidget spinners, and I'm just going like this. This kid like looked at me. He's like, "This is the best present I got." He's like, "Can I give you a hug?" And I was like, "Yeah, for sure, bro." And like he's like, "You got no idea how much he just made my day, like made my life." I'm like, "Bro, it's a freaking fidget spinner." But like I said that under my breath in my head, but then I was like, dude,
Take
like,
a step back.
yeah, like
He just says that to him.
That would be insane.
Bro, get over it. There's more people in line. Next.
But literally, it was like one of those moments where I said it to myself, then like it took a step back. I was like, damn, like you're
That'll
right.
latch on to your emotions.
Yeah,
When a kid has to hug you over that, like something as small as that.
Make a grown man cry.
Dude, I was like sitting there. I was like, all right, bro, like bet I'll be back next year. But I do have a really funny story about what happened to me there. That's honestly one of the craziest.
Oh,
things.
please don't share it.
Oh no, I have to. So the first year, this is one of the craziest things that's ever happened in my entire life. My first year there, it's the last day. I'm exhausted, and this big woman comes up to my buddy. And
How big?
I'm talking like 400 or 500. Like messed up teeth a little bit. No disrespect. We love everybody, but
Get braces.
she
Anyway, go ahead.
goes up to my buddy. He's like, "Is that your friend over there?" And he was like, "Yeah." He's like, "I like him. He got a wife?" And he was like, "No." He's like, "I'm gonna make him my husband." And I'm like looking at this, and I'm like, "Bro, no, like don't attach." My buddy's like, "He's right here. Come over here. Come over." And I'm like, "Bro, don't do this to me." And she like looks at me. She's like, "I got 6 kids. Don't got a job. You want to be my husband?" And I'm like, yeah, you can take my number down. She's like, I will love you. And I'm like, I love you too. I put down my homie's number. Bro, not even 2 minutes later, she faints. 911, everything. Paramedics.
After you gave her the number.
Yeah, it was like a scene.
Maybe she didn't
You're
think
one
that
bite
would
to
happen.
her.
Maybe she
You're
had
one bite for her.
maybe she had fake confidence and she didn't think that you would go through with it, so she got so emotionally attached she collapsed.
Bro, it was wild. Like I'm talking like paramedics came in and I'm just sitting there.
What was
like,
this?
Like 2018, I want to say.
So what happened? You
That's
helped
some
her out?
superstar shit.
Bro,
You were Jonas Brother.
She got up.
I can't think of the last time I had a fat woman faint.
She got
Trying to
up.
make me her husband.
No, the story gets better. She gets up, doesn't go to the paramedics. Flash forward a year. I see her again the next year. She's like, "You remember me?" I'm like, "Hell yeah." She's like, "You still want to be my husband?" I'm like, and I look at this like this girl who I was talking to. I was like, "Look, if I wasn't dating her, I would be a husband." And she's like, "Oh, you dog."
Black lady or white lady?
You dog.
Say less. Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's just
She has a faint of heart.
it's
She had some confidence.
it was crazy. And like another thing was like these scenarios just like you'd never forget. My buddy was in charge of the slide, making sure kids didn't like send it off, and he's just ripping his vape like incognito. And this little kid, probably like claims it was like a 6 or 7 year old, was like, "Hey, what are you smoking?" And he's like, nothing. He's like, "You could tell me. I put coke in my blunts." And he's like 6 or 7 years old. I'm like from afar and I see my face.
Well, then in
friend's
that
reaction.
case,
Dude, his
Get
face
over
went
here,
like
kid.
like this to a little
Some of that
kid. I'm just
angel
like,
dust,
"What are
son."
you doing, bro?" I'm like, that is wild. So yeah, man, it's when you do good for people, you get funny stories like that.
yeah, everything was like a silver lining until fat women fainting and cokes in a 7-year-old's blunt.
It's It's the best thing I've ever experienced my entire life, and I
for you.
will pretty much, no matter my success in life, dedicate a full week to helping these people. Because the craziest thing that I love about it is you got celebrities' wives, you got celebrities getting down and dirty with you, which is like the coolest thing. Like, egos aside, we still got
Yeah.
boxes to unload. We still got things to pack in.
They're stripped from that celebrity status or feel when it's their wives and kids, when that real stuff is involved, they remember
They're
what it's
human
like to be a human.
And
It's
that's
crazy.
and it's the coolest thing ever, because like there's a bunch of people that come in and
Right.
things like that, and people fanboy over. I'll never forget. Like, I'm one of 8 people that pretty much run the whole thing of like when it's operation day, because you saw me outside. I'm quick on my feet in this chair, and like I'm zooming through people, getting things done, going from one place, going to the other, getting this person, and literally I was checking people in, and like David Beckham, Cedric Gervais, and like a bunch of people walking
Wow.
in, and I'm like, yeah, what's up? What size t-shirt you guys want? And like in my head, I'm like, bro.
Yeah.
And then so like 20 minutes later, I'm like sitting in there, and I'm with like the executives, and my mom like doesn't know they're in there. Like, guys, Victoria Beckham was right next to me. I didn't know what to do, and I'm like, well, you could have not like shot your load right in front of everyone. Like, it's a human. it's a human being. Like, at the end of the day, like, it's not like people are people. That's what I've learned when I was working at the Heat. Like, these celebrity people are just people.
Yeah.
They just have gotten either unwanted or excess attention.
I like when celebrities, when you treat them like people and then they don't like it.
Yeah.
Like they go, wait, like let's say David Beckham, I'm not saying he did, but in a perfect world where it happens, like David Beckham's like this, and this, you're like, yeah, what size you want? And they go, wait, and they like double take. Like, excuse me, talk to me differently. Like they're used to that.
Yeah, no, it's
You know?
There's a bunch of people like that, and you see a lot of people that come to volunteer there just to see celebrities.
It's crazy.
It's nuts. Like, you'll see like people walk in, they leave, and then like 20 people leave after them.
Oh, jeez.
That's fucked.
Happens every year.
Yeah, that's fucked.
Well, you're going to have that one day, Austin. That's what I think. Because you've already had a bunch of fucking celebrities leaving your... Remember in Standard, you would have like 20 chicks at a time pile on your wheelchair at the bar?
I miss those days, bro. Those days were pretty legendary.
You were a dirt monument.
Just literally
Yeah.
parking my chair at Chaz's bar and not leaving for 7 hours. I will never forget, like, going home and taking a piss after drinking for 7 hours. I've got a bladder like a champion. Was one of the best feelings in the world.
Have you ever whipped your dick out under the bar at Standard and pissed?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think everyone
absolutely,
has.
yeah.
Yeah, baby.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
Some of that, for sure, bro. That's all right.
the biggest power move.
I've always wondered that too, because you would be there and I would get drunk and then sober up and I'd be like, Austin's, it's been 6 hours. I don't know if that cup's beer. I would sit from the VIP or some bullshit and I'd look at you. I'm like, he hasn't moved. And then I would see you do a couple of these. I'm like, oh, he just goes there.
It was.
Oh my
My favorite thing was I would go there. Chaz was my big. Give him like $50, and literally any girl that came up to me, why bum, shot. Like,
Oh, yeah.
Nothing else mattered, and it was such a power move of just like left,
Yeah.
right, new girl.
Yeah.
Like it was like a rotating spot. Got the boys like in the around me to where it was like, yo, it was like kind of like a bounce because I couldn't see shit behind me.
Of
Like,
course.
there was a bar in front of me, and then thank God they had like that mirror.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
how I literally was just like, who the hell is
Your
behind
chair
me?
basically was a VIP to like Jewish women of Boca Raton that came to Florida State to pop coochie. And it fucking... Oh, I'm sorry. I thought I was Mrs. Claus. Oh, I'm sorry. What do you want for Christmas, bitch? No, fucking, you gotta go through me. Technically, Mrs. Claus calls the shots.
She's the gatekeeper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's like, you were out late. He's like, bitch, it's Christmas. It's like, that's not an excuse. You know, like, you need to have dinner with my parents this year and all that shit. Dude, wait, fucking, I'm spazzing because I'm editing what I want to say next.
You just tapped into Mrs. Claus fully.
I like it.
Yeah,
Method
dude.
acting.
That was
I look like the werewolf that eats the fucking Red Riding Hood. That's what I feel like instead of Mrs. Claus. Like, you know, all those creepy.
Go Robin Hood and Mrs. Doubtfire.
Dude, he like
I'm
has
dressed like
he
Robin
has the
Hood.
craziest.
Not
purse.
Robin Hood. Robin Williams.
And Miss Doubtfire?
Yeah,
For
Miss-
what?
Mrs.
Halloween?
Mrs. Doubtfire.
Oh, me?
You look like
Yeah.
kind of like that right
Yeah,
now.
like the Swedish version or some shit. That's what they wear still in Swedish. This and wooden clogs or something.
Like the white Tyler Perry.
Yeah, I felt that. I felt that. Hello. I've never watched a single movie, but I bet they're
You
funny.
didn't watch Medea?
No, dude.
There's like 12 of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, which one?
That's what I'm saying, bro. I just
Medea
remember-
goes to jail. Medea swims to Alcatraz. Medea. Dude,
I'm actually swimming with Medea. This is the next feature film with Tyler Perry.
I think, dude, if you make a little, you got to make a video or something.
Yeah, no, so that's why
I think so.
That's why I initially backed off, because I didn't have the prep and I don't want to do this. How do I say this? I don't want to do it without a purpose. Like, I don't want to do it just because I can swim. Like, I want to do it to show people I can swim, kind of
Yeah.
thing.
Should do,
Like, there's no
documentary style.
Exactly. There's no like if I do the swim, I'll be like, I always knew I could do this. Like, but if I do it and package it to the point of like, yo, had a dream, had a vision, trained, pursued it, accomplished. Like those 5 checkpoints kind of thing. It's
Next, yeah, what's next?
what's next?
That's
kind
how
of
you
thing.
live.
Yeah. Because after this Alcatraz thing, Michigan Great Lakes, there's a bunch of different things I could swim.
Here's what I didn't like. There was a 60 Minutes documentary that I saw on a guy who was born with no arms and legs, and like regular torso, normal head, no arms, no legs, and they were saying that he climbed Mount Kilimanjaro.
What?
Did you ever see that?
How's
I don't want to say anything, but
You can say yes or no.
Was he attached to something?
I
With a
can
homie?
edit this if you don't feel comfortable. Yes, that's the
but
thing.
that's what I'm
Here's the
saying.
thing.
He's
Here's
a
the thing.
nugget.
So he was a nugget. He was a one bite to a shark. He was.
We got a lot in common.
But here's the thing. He was climbing Mount Kilimanjaro, and first off, they don't climb, and second off, he was going on to this story about anything's possible and blah blah blah, and I'm like, let me see the footage, because I'm like, 'cause you can't. This is different. This is a very different. But when people get on their high horse to be like anything's possible, but let me cheat, I'm like, I kind of don't even like you now as a person, limbs or not. So then they threw him in a backpack, and his buddy walked the entire
That's
thing.
what I was saying, bro.
So he cheated.
If we're going on that
Like a
record,
baby.
I ran a half marathon, guys. I ran the Miami half marathon.
Like in a papoose, like an African papoose.
Yeah, like a
one of those.
baby.
Yeah, so he climbed Mount Kilimanjaro via his boy. He walked, and there's footage Anderson Cooper's interviewing him, and he's in the backpack. He's like, hey, and his boy's just climbing the whole thing, feeding him Uncrustables, and then taking a break, and then going to climb the rest.
He's feeding him.
He's a
you gotta-
veggie tail. How the fuck else is he gonna get food in his mouth? And then they gave him hooks on his little limbs, and he would and they would make him climb it, and then he would fall he'd look like a big pillowcase, and then. Happy holidays, folks.
Holy shit!
I'm like, you're a liar, dude. I'm gonna watch this whole thing, but you're a liar.
Oh no, bro!
You wrote a book. Who wrote the book?
It's audio.
It's at Barnes and
It's audio.
It's at Barnes and Noble.
Honestly, dude, that's a good point. But we got technology in 2023 where someone could dictate your words.
True.
He could have done that.
This could be all AI.
Yeah. We're AI right now.
My goal is to next year just not even be a successful comedian. I just want to make an AI page of like hot, busty women that are just fake and have men just like from the Middle East, just more cleavage, more toe picks in the sand, squishing with toes. And I'm like, got it, chat GPT and fucking get a bag. I don't care, dude. Chicks are on OnlyFans. Why can't I lie and make a chick on Instagram? That people do that now. That's
It's
crazy.
nuts.
Dude,
It's,
that
Instagram's
Andrew Tate
like,
did that.
No, but he did that before AI.
Yeah, but I mean, he was talking to the guys
Regardless, that's
as the girls. That's basically what you're doing.
right. But I'm like this little. I'm a fake. They're fake women. They're like little like 3D carbon copies of like, what are you doing, daddy, and all that bullshit. And they're like, just got off work at Chili. Show me your tits.
I think the funniest part is that you're gonna be building these girls through AI. You're gonna be punching in their features.
I think the funniest part is you're gonna call me and be like, yo, you should add this to her.
100%.
I'm getting tips from the boys, bro. Oh God, we go way back, dude. Remember that? Like we would have a group. What was that group chat that we had to delete? Group me.
Group me. I'm trying to think of the name.
Brother.
Holy shit, group me.
Oh,
Or summer B group me's.
you know, I lifted his wheelchair up 6 floors or 4 floors, was it? Remember we all had to lift your wheelchair. It was like 1,000 pounds. Like 4 or 5 of us had to pick you up because the elevator was broken.
Where the fuck were we?
Fido.
Was that what it was? I
Yeah,
got
we
stuck.
had we needed to go have a meeting or something. Elevator's broken.
Oh yeah.
And we carried him like Egyptians carrying one brick for a pyramid. Like we all together were like, holy shit, if he crushes us, we're done. And we had to rotate, you know?
I kind of freaking blacked that out of my memory.
You were drunk.
Yeah, no, that was.
It's okay.
I saw a video of you guys all carrying him at a festival. Like carrying you
Yeah,
at a
no,
festival.
that was one thing I did
That was sick.
in high school. I was reckless in high school. I went to Ultra like 2 weekends in a row, and then all of a sudden, like literally, there was, like this guy's like,
Back-to-back
he's like,
weekends?
come on my shoulders. I was just like, I'm gonna go flying. He's like, nah, I got you, bro. I get up on there, and this guy's like literally holding my back, and I'm like, like living life, and I'm just like sitting there. I was just like, bro, like this is living. Like I was just like,
Austin Reynolds went through a period in college where he had his bionic ass wheelchair and he thought he could just take out stop signs. Like he literally thought it was him versus a yield, and he would just floor it and he would fly.
Reynolds, dude. Bro. Reynolds just crashed.
He bent them.
so I lived in Reynolds, right next to Chick-fil-A.
Yeah.
There was a
You lived in Reynolds?
yeah. How ironic is that?
Austin Reynolds and Reynolds.
Continue. Sorry.
Fun fact about that. So that was the only dorm on campus that was accessible. My parents did Florida prepaid, so like,
What are the odds?
so no, but this is where it bit me in the ass. Summer C was the shit. Like I had the best bet. Like it was a college dorm experience. That following next year, spring, fall and spring, they literally changed it to the Amity dorm. So it's just like you come back drunk, you come back sober. I mean, you come back drunk, you have any people over, you can do anything. Like you're kicked out of like your dorm. And I had to go to the Florida State Board. I'm like, yo, I'm like, you got to figure out a different living situation for me because I can't do this. Like, I don't want to like live a lie. And I'm like, that's not who I am. And they were like, no, you'll be good. Just trust me. Literally, like my first like semester, we have like 8 people in my dorm, and like we're like chilling. This is so funny. Like like we're all just chilling, drinking in my dorm. My dorm is massive. That was the cool thing about it. It was like a actual like probably like a 4-bedroom dorm that was only 1 bedroom, private bathroom. And I had like probably 5 girls, and it was me and my homie. And this girl knocked on the door. I hid them all in my bathroom and proceeded to be like, I'm on the toilet. Hold on. I need to get off the toilet. And I come out and like I strip down to like just like no shirt on or anything. I'm like, it smells really bad in that bathroom. You do not want to go in there. Like there's 5 people in there. All the alcohol's in there. And I'm just like, she opens that door. I'm fucked. And I'm just like, yeah, no, I had some Chipotle earlier. Like, I'm sorry it took me so long. And she was like, well, I heard a lot of people in here. I'm like, it was a rough battle in there. And this girl, like, literally looked at me like, what are you, like, you're lying, but, like, are you, though? And I'm, like, holding it to the T. I'm like, yeah, no, like, it's just us. Like, we're just chilling, playing video games, hanging out. Woman left. Literally, like, I was like, bro, that was the closest call.
You continued?
I continued.
You're crazy.
And probably not my favorite Tallahassee story, but the craziest Tallahassee experience was I was going to my friend's house. I was on Pensacola. This is where I was trying to think of the name. And I was turning right into a plaza. It was me and my roommate, Jeff, in the front seat. And some dude smashes my car at like 70 miles an hour. Hits me from behind. I like slid out of my chair. Now I'm like, can't see shit, but only going like 2 miles an hour. My car's like rolling, hits a tree. Thank God it hit a tree because my car wouldn't have stopped if it didn't. And I'm like, oh, fuck. And my buddy's just like, yo, you good, you good? I'm like, yeah, I'm good. And my whole steering wheel was bent. The horn was going off. Everything was fine. Paramedics come, cops come. Car's totaled. The kid behind me like is already taken like, yeah, I was texting and all this stuff. I'm just like sitting there. I'm like, yo, that was the craziest thing, but I'm in like no pain. Dude, the firefighters picked me up, put me on a stretcher. Bro, I literally, so in that car accident, I broke my femur. But like I was like in a position where I didn't feel anything. Like, because my leg was placed, because it was just chilling. But the second they moved me to the stretcher, it was the worst pain I've ever had my entire life. I blacked out essentially. And I'll never forget this. I get to the Tallahassee hospital. They're like, yeah, man, it's time for surgery. I'm like, oh, no. Because that's literally the only way, not the only, but one of the main ways that people with my special dwarfism die is through anesthesia. Remember growing up, those two little twins who did like termite things?
What
like
termite things?
Like it's literally like the famous commercial, the two dwarf twins of like the little termite people.
The little guys with they were like twins.
Yes.
They always had those goofy commercials.
Yes.
What about them? They died?
So one of them died from that from
anesthesia?
Anesthesia. So like
No way.
Someone in my family knew of someone in that era, like basically like pretty much told my parents like don't like get a surgeon, trust your surgeon. And I was like, yeah, no. So they spent like 2 days trying to figure out how to get me from Boca Tally to Miami. Bro, I don't know how this happened, but insurance came across and they pretty much were just like, hey, like we'll fly him down. Private plane, hospital, chartered, everything. Cool. Bro, coolest experience of my entire life. I'm literally laying in a hospital bed. 4 dudes come in. They're like, all right, we're here to take you. I go from a hospital bed. Second before I leave, they pump me with morphine. Going in like, granted, it's a 7-hour drive. So I'm just thinking, I get to fly to Miami, get this all over with. And like literally we were just all hanging out and I was getting pumped morphine, private plane, literally in the same hospital bed, like only us. It's like this medical program they have. Landed in Miami, put in an ambulance, brought straight to the hospital. Literally it was like
morphine on a PJ sounds
morphine
wild.
On a PJ and a 7-hour drive in 45 minutes was the coolest thing. But I lost my shit when I got to the University of Miami. By far the most horrendous, craziest hospital experience. Literally, like right where you are, there was this dude handcuffed who just shot up like 3 people with like 4 cops next to him. And then it's just like me and my mom. And I'm like pretty much in like Tallahassee, like memorial, like clothing, like my bedding still from there. So, dude, this Jay Leno dude walks in, looks identical to Jay Leno. Like, I will never forget this guy's face. He's like, all right, man, we got to clean you up. Like, you're not in our hospital stuff, so we got to get you in there. Like, let's get this over with. He was, like, pissed. Like, he had to do this. Like, let's get this over with. And I'm like, bro, I got a broken leg. He's like, I don't give a shit. Flips me right on my broken leg. Bro, I must have said probably, like, 100 curse words in, like, 10 seconds. Because those cops that were, like, originally right there were on me. And I was like, you Jay Leno, fuck. You are going to die. Like, I'm, like, screaming, like no filter, no anything. My mom's, like, freaking out. These cops are like, what's happened? I'm like, this Jay Leno asshole needs to go. Like, he doesn't know what he's... And then he was like, I'm like, I have a broken leg. He flipped me on my broken leg. And pretty much just like, yeah, get over it. And so, like, these cops are, like, don't know what to do. Like the main nurse comes up to me and she was like, "Hey, like what happened?" I'm like, "Jay Leno's got it." Like I was high off like pain medicine. I'm like, "Jay Leno's got to go," and she's like, "Who?" I'm like, "That guy." And like I see him the next day. I'm like, "What happened?" And
Right.
he's just like, "I flipped you on your leg, and then you had like a catastrophic meltdown." I was like, "Did I win?" He's like, "Yes." I'm like, "Do you still have your job?" He's like, "Yes." I'm like, "We're all good."
Keep it pushing.
Thanks for coming on, dude.
Thanks for
We
having
always
us.
close our show out with the brand Yifno itself on Serving Sunshine. And we want to know, Austin Reynolds, you know, I'll be honest with you, like, just what does the word Yifno mean to you?
If-no means to me that go out and get it. Like there's nothing in this world that's unobtainable. You know what it is. You know it's fucking nice out. Even if it's not nice out, there's nicer places in the world than where you're at. You're still living better than 90% of these people. You know the vibes, you know the things, and you know it's fucking nice out. Now go fucking listen.
Dude, that was fucking electric. I need just that clip, dude. That's the best answer we've gotten.
Anything else you want to plug in or say you got coming up next besides Alcatraz? Anything else? And we'll close it out.
Appreciate you guys having me on. You know, follow me on Instagram, support Barstool Sports, and shout out Michael Greer.
Yeah, and go out and get it. Merry Christmas, whether you're Jewish or you're fucking, who gives a shit?
Christian, Mormon,
Celebrate
Catholic,
Christmas. Have a present, you know? Buy a tree. Kiss somebody in ugly Christmas sweaters. And, you know, thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning into the special. And keep watching. Like and subscribe. Thanks again, Austin.
Thank you guys for having me.
Appreciate you, brother.
Thank you.
Appreciate
man.
you coming on, bro.
Another one in the books.
That was a good listen.
Yo, it's fucking nice out. Yeah, I like that. I like Yifno. That was pretty sick.